Do you want to see my 12-inch collection? Have a look at this. There you go. Down in the bottom. About 2 sections worth. So, I was watching a video the other day by Brian at Embryonic Robot, um, rifling through his favourite 12-inch singles, and I thought, yeah, maybe I should do something about 12-inch singles as well. And I was just thinking about it. What is it about 12-inch singles that are appealing to us record collectors? Well, first thing to say is that I probably had a period when I was buying 12-inch singles that goes from the late 70s to the mid 1980s. And I bought very few after that, maybe a couple of Radiohead ones. But this collection down here kind of represents that golden period when the music industry started producing things that genuinely sounded a whole lot better than the traditional 7-inch single. And so if you're running parties, you're having parties, 12-inch singles were amazing. Obviously, you didn't play them at parties themselves because you'd put them on a tape because you wouldn't want to be changing the record every 5 minutes. But what you'd want to be doing is putting those long extended versions into the kind of a party atmosphere. And the other thing that is kind of meant most to me about the 12-inch single is that you got those, like I've suggested, those extended versions that had those longer outros, the longer instrumental sections, the intros that were a different dynamic. They were lengthened. They had sound effects and so on and so forth. So the singles, the songs were sometimes completely revamped and made memorable. And it's kind of sad, really, because I don't play 12-inch singles hardly at all these days. I kind of every now and again I'll put the turntable on at the 45 and I'll hammer a few for an hour. But it's one of the reasons why for this 45 RPM business, it's one of the reasons why I don't go for these big album reissues, these audiophile albums that are cut at 45. I just can't be bothered to get up every few minutes to change the sides. But anyway, I thought I'll go through in this video a sample of my 12-inch singles, but I'm going to focus on the ones that are, to me, of the epic variety. So they offer significantly more than the original album or single 7-inch single version. So the first one is by the mighty Wah, and this is the story of the blues. And what's remarkable about this is that part one and part two are an extended piece where you've got the song in the first half, and then you've got the singer Pete and songwriter Pete Wiley doing his talking blues, which really works. I mean, it's he's trying to kind of be inspiring and getting people to take personal responsibility and kind of fight for the brotherhood sort of thing. But it's really, really great, and it's a fantastic version. It's backed with another wah track from the first album, 7 Minutes to Midnight, which it's described here as live-ish. So obviously, you get what that means. But this is an absolutely great tune, about 8 minutes long, I think, something like that. So that's the Mighty Wah. And if you don't know about the Mighty Wah, they were part of the Liverpool scene in the early 1980s, along with Echo and the Bunnymen and one or two others. Um, Something from a similar period. I think this is on Beggar's Banquet. Let me just get the date of this one before I show this one up. Has it got a date? Yeah, 1983 on Beggar's Banquet. And this is truly epic. And this is The Cult, and She Sells Sanctuary. And it's described here as the long version. And this is what I was getting at before. This is where they do that extended intro, and it's just kind of a guitar, and then it just absolutely bangs in with the great riff of this song. It's absolutely a certain classic in rock music. It's fantastic. The band is great. The album from which this comes is great, but this version is just out of this world. A little bit earlier, a special edition of. Can you see that one? This is my attempt at trying to make the sleeve a bit more interesting. This is a special limited edition. It's called Of Marquee Moon by Television. And this is a 45 which has 11 minutes of the stereo version on side A, and on side B it's the mono version. Listened to that yesterday, and it's still epic, fantastic. And it's strange to me personally because my phone ringtone is the opening few notes of Marquee Moon. This is a great single as well. I remember this coming out. Uh, Pioneering single, and I know it was influenced by people like Gil Scott Heron and the Last Poets and so on from the late 60s, early 70s in particular. But this is Grandmaster Flash and The Message. We all know that track, absolutely classic, justified, another bona fide classic. Another classic, but in a different version. Epic song. The full length album version, not such a big deal, but this is Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Why is this great? Because it's on blood red vinyl. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So, I don't remember when that came out. I think the album was 77 or something like that, maybe a bit later. I should check, but it doesn't really matter. This is a bit like the Coach She Sells Sanctuary, and this is because it has that. This also has a guitar based intro that extends the song and it kind of lays the ground for the big pulsating impact of the track proper when it comes in. And this is Simple Minds and Someone Somewhere in Summertime from New Gold Dream. Fantastic album, brilliant single. I think I said quite recently on a video that this version here might be the best thing they ever did. Awesome. Another one, boring sleeve, but this is the brilliant Chic, and this is the extended version of I Want Your Love, which is backed by Le Freak and Chic Share. What's good about this one is that the instrumental section towards the end is extended and is just pulsating along. It's absolutely fantastic. And what's great about this is maybe for DJs, it actually has the beats per minute for each song. So I Want Your Love is at 116 beats per minute. Le Freak is 121 and Chic Share is 113. So for DJs in nightclubs, no doubt. I mentioned Brian Embryonic Robot because he inspired me to do this video, and he held up this one, which was The Cure and Charlotte Sometimes, and he was suggesting that this was maybe included with the album called Pornography, which I don't think it was really. This was recorded in the Faith sessions, I understand, the preceding album, the third album they did. This has got a extended live version of the title track of the Faith album on the B side. But this is a great song. But this is not one of my epics because my epic Cure single is 100 Years. And this may have been included with some copies of the Pornography album when it came out. But I bought this at the live gig for the Pornography tour by The Cure. And this has got the promotional copy only kind of thing on the label. So this is a promo. And I was kind of trying to work out whether it came with the album or whether indeed I did buy it at the gig. And I checked on Discogs yesterday. And I think this one goes for about 150 quid. So this might be, minute for minute, the most expensive or valuable record in my collection. But it's great. I mean, if you like The Cure, I don't know when you came into The Cure because the first album is very kind of quirky, new wavy, post-punk. And then they got into that very spacious sound on 17 Seconds and Faith. Keyboard bass, but strong bass guitar coming through as well. And the sound was very open. And then this album came along, and suddenly it was all compressed and congested and right at the edge of distortion. And it's like an oral onslaught, this album, but it's fabulous. And you know, later on they got a little back to the quirky poppy kind of sound, which was great as well because they're a fantastic band. But this album is a work of art, absolutely great. But 100 Years is the track that opens the album. Around the same period, the wonderful ABC, and this is All of My Heart from Lexicon of Love, but it's backed by the overture for Lexicon of Love. So this basically is an orchestral overture which has the themes, the musical themes coming out in the various tracks on that album, with a little bit of Martin Fry spoken word in there, which is also on the original album as well. But this is great. I can't listen to the Lexicon of Love now without listening to the overture first, but it's great, absolutely fantastic. This one, how many have I got now? 2 or 3 I want to touch upon, and then I'll be done. And this is, I don't know when this came out, but this is Street Hustle by Lou Reed. And it's backed by I'm Waiting for the Man and Venus and Furs by the Velvet Underground. This is on the Arista label. So they licensed the Velvet Underground tracks here, but it's got a great sounding version. I think it's about 11 minutes as well of Street Hustle, which has got the little quiet Bruce Springsteen monologue at the very end. But this is fantastic. Listen to that again yesterday. Another more epic. Another one with the extended intro and good sound effects. Mainly on the vocals, and that is not one of their best songs necessarily, but it's a great 12-inch version. And this is the extended version of The Lady Don't Mind by Talking Heads from the album Little Creatures. The rhythms and the vocals in this track were less kind of more reminiscent of the final Talking Heads album, which was Naked. Kind of that Latin vibe coming in with the congas and all that sort of stuff. But it's great, wonderful vocals on this album. And I've just dropped it, but it's okay. The sleeve protected it. And finally, another homemade sleeve for a great, great single, which I'd almost forgotten I had, and that is Israel by Susie and the Banshees. And this is on the Polydor label. It's not an extended version as far as I can tell. I'm not even sure it was on an album. It's on the live album, which I've been playing recently. But this is Israel. Sounds absolutely great. And has that sound a bit like The Cure. So it was no surprise. Wasn't it? Didn't Robert Smith play with Susie and the Banshees for a little while as a live guitarist? I think that's true. But the sound is very much like that 100 Years on this great, great song. So I might do another video on 12-inch singles and pick out some of my favorites. But I kind of wanted just to say I wanted to concentrate on the ones that are kind of sound different and sound epic, particularly when they're turned up to 11. So I hope that was a good selection, and that you recognize some of those, and maybe you want to buy that Cure single off me for 150 quid. Who knows? Anyway, enough of the 12-inch singles for now, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.